So I'm going to take you through the glute bridge timeline now, guys. There's a great series of exercises that will take you from basic all the way through to advanced variations of developing your glutes and hamstrings. Starting off on your back on the floor, knees bent, feet on the ground, back and lower back on the ground, hands either side of you, driving your hips to the ceiling, finding foot extension, getting confident with that hip extension, and then lighting up those glutes and hamstrings. From here, moving into the single leg glute bridge, which is from the floor, using one leg and leaving one leg off the ground, driving up to full extension, getting competent both sides. From here, we're going to go into an elevated version. Shoulders up onto a bench, up onto the bed, up onto an elevated surface. Using your mid-back as a leverage point and your feet, we're going to be looking to keep your chin on your chest, eyes forward, thrusting high, finding foot extension with 2 feet, getting confident with that increased range of motion. And as we get then from here, we're now going to then go into that single leg. And again, there's a nice leap here from double to single, but a really nice way of isolating that single side. And again, a fantastic way of increasing the resistance and intensity. From here, we're going to stay with the elevated version. We can add a resistance band, we can add weights, we can add load to both of the glute bridge and the elevated glute thrust. We can add weight across the hip, or we can use a resistance band across the hip to bring in that extra amount of resistance and intensity. Once we reach this ceiling with weight across the hip, we need to then go back to the ground, and we're going to bring in a barbell with a hip pad. We're then going to be going with the bar across our hip. Same setup, feet on the ground, shoulders on the ground, thrusting your hips to the ceiling. We're now in that barbell glute bridge. Okay, and again, we can load this up to body weight and beyond. Okay, so there is no limit potentially to how heavy you can go with this. What I will want you to do further down the line on that timeline is move into that elevated glute thrust. So bridge to thrust, shoulders back up on that surface, bar across the hips, pad across the hips, looking to punch that hips to the ceiling. Once you're getting competent with this, we're going to be moving into a staggered variation where we're looking to isolate or put more emphasis on one side over the other. We call it a B stance setup. One foot is we've got to isolate, so we're going to keep that bent with foot flat on the ground. The other foot is to be slightly further away with your weight, 25% of your weight in the heel. From here, we're looking to keep the hips nice and neutral, driving the weight high. We're looking to put 75% of your effort through that bent knee leg, working both sides and building that up. All right, so we've got some great variations there, guys, progressions through the progressions. You'll see all of these within your programming, but again, just always good to know where you are.